Okay, welcome everybody to this evening's AUDJPY webinar. My name is Duncan Cooper. Tonight's webinar is live Forex trading analysis, or Forex trading live market analysis, as the title will say. Now, for me this week, tomorrow evening, I'll be using pivot points to identify key intraday support and resistance levels. So that will be tomorrow's webinar, education webinar. And then on Thursday, at the same time, 8 p.m. Sydney time, will be more analysis, so live Forex market review on Thursday. So as the webinar is coming up today, tomorrow, and Thursday, if you want to join me for the other ones, just register your interest at the webinar page. Before we get into it, if you could read through the disclaimer, and for those watching on live stream on YouTube, I can't see the chat, but you can join us. I've given you the link there. For those in the webinar, you can use the chat box or the Q&A box to talk to me. Just put your questions in there. So everybody, please just take the time to read through the disclaimer before we move along. All right, let's move along now. For those that don't know me, my name is Duncan Cooper. I'm a senior market strategist and trading mentor here at ACY Securities. I'm a full-time Forex trader. I've been trading in the Forex market now almost 20 years. I'm entering for more than 10. If you want to contact me, my email is there, duncan.cooper@acy.com. And if you want to connect with me through the week, you can get me at the website, acy.com, go to the market news tab. At our YouTube channel, which is at ACY Securities Australia. And if you want to connect with me personally, my Linktree page is there. You'll get my links there. You can connect with me there. If you want to get access to the chart layouts and templates I'm using for MT4 in the webinars, just contact Nathan.bray's emails there on screen. He'll be on to happy to set you up, and I'll put his details in the chat for those in the webinar. Just contact him. He'll only be too happy to set you up and answer any questions that you might have. All right, so let's get into tonight's webinar then. Forex analysis. First up, we'll have a look at the news items coming out for the week that might affect the market. So the next item coming up, I'm just going to go through the red items, time charter, my time, Queensland time. So this evening, 11:25 p.m. for the pound, we have Bank of England Governor Bay speaking. Tomorrow evening, 11:45 p.m. for Canada, we have the BOC Monetary Policy Report, rate statement, overnight rate, expecting 50 basis point drop there. So it's going to be volatile for Canadian crosses in that window there for sure. Then in moving into the new day on Thursday, 12:30 a.m. in the morning for me, Bank of Canada press conference. They'll be moving on from the interest rate decision. And then into Thursday afternoon, 4:45. I should correct myself. This is still within the early morning of Thursday, 4:45 a.m. For the pound, we have Bank of England Governor Bay speaking. Then into the evening, we have the flash manufacturing and flash services data from a number of different countries. So the Eurozone, 5:15, that's the French data. 5:30 for the Eurozone, the German data. Then we have 6:30 p.m. for the pound. We have their flash manufacturing service PMI data. Then we get into the US news, 10:30 p.m. US unemployment claims. And at 11:45, we have the US flash manufacturing PMI and flash service PMI data. Now, if these figures don't come in on print as expected, we can get quite a lot of volatility through those releases. So be very much aware of that for the pairs that the countries affect. And then getting into Friday at 10:30 p.m. for Canada, we have core retail sales and retail sales to finish off the week. Okay. All right, so make sure you know at least a good day ahead what is coming out, so that you're not just entering a trade right in the face of a news event. All right, so let's get into the charts now. We're still seeing a very predominant, this is the dollar index, a very predominant dollar index strength. As I've been saying on the monthly chart, here we are. We've got support down there at 100.30, and we're kind of middle in the range, slightly fractionally above middle. How we're going to head up to the top of the range. Very positive month this month from support. And the day chart's just showing you a very strong uptrend. Slight pause Friday into Monday, traded up then on Monday, and I would anticipate we'll have another day up today. You would have to have something definite to, not trade in the direction of that trend at the moment. Okay, so clear up trend. So pairs to the US dollar, you should be looking for opportunities to get short. Okay. All right, S&P 500. It is of course in a very dominant bull trend. This is the all-time high just up here. It's just having a little bit of a breather. And in a perfect world, you'd want to maybe see a movement back down to support to be a buyer. So the most prominent area of support is here at 57.68. Now, I don't know if it will pull back to there, but so we can be drawing a fib in from that bottom up to the high. 62 levels just below that level. So that would be a very key area to watch for support if we could pull back to that area for the next move up. So that would be at 57.68 down to 57.55. Okay. Can we pull back to that area of support before the next upward move occurs? All right, getting into the euro dollar, which, let's get to my day chart for a moment. So pairs to the US versus the US dollar, Friday, same story on all these pairs. Friday, we had a rally. Some pairs did put in a fresh high Monday, others didn't, but then we sold off down in Monday. And there's a question now as to whether the high on Monday could be the high of the week. Finished very negative. We're just trading back inside a little bit of the day before. Now, at the moment, the big question is going to be for the euro dollar. Are we going to be trading down to test 107.77 to break further down the range? Okay. Are we long-term coming down to target? So first of all, can we break 107.77? We will need to move below 108, of course, but are we going to test that? Will we see a break of that level? And are we longer term over the next month moving down to 106 to test that monthly support area down there? Very dominant trend at the moment. As I say, be probably rather stupid to try to go a counter trend at the moment. Now, let's just drop it down a time frame. All right, so we're just having a bit of a bounce up here from last week's low. We tested last week's low yesterday, haven't quite committed below it yet. We might come up to feel a bit of an imbalance in this 4-hour candle here that got formed yesterday. We have come up and filled some of it already today. Really, on the 50-minute chart, we're just looking to see where price might want to put the high in for the day. And right now, we want to be seeing as to whether we can move back above the central pivot point or not. And we'll have to get rid of that. That's good. So central pivot points around about 108.30. First level to watch at the moment would be to watch the central pivot point on a retest. If we hold there on a retest, then look for an opportunity to get short intraday for a move down and test last week's low. We may need a little bit of a higher move yet. We'll just have to wait and see what happens over the next hour or two in this area to see whether we top out here. There's quite a sell-off down through here. Price may want to come back up to fill all the imbalances within this area. So there is a bit of an imbalance up here that hasn't been filled. So dragging that across there, and that kind of coincides with this 62% level here. So if we do continue up intraday at the moment, I would look at this area for a failure today. So it's 108.47 up to approximately 108.50. But if we do falter here at the central pivot point and hold, then we may not be able to get up so high. So you're just going to have to monitor some levels and see if we start to top out. Now the euro yen, it's just testing to the daily chart an area of resistance which keeps holding it. I'm inclined to think we're going to break above this area because we're putting in a higher bottom and these are higher tops. But right now, if you're saying, well, we keep holding here for countless days, we may well just hold here again to move down. So there's a definite intraday opportunity to get short down from this level. But I'm inclined to think we might be moving back up the range. Dollar yen in general terms is very positive. So for our chart trend here is up, we're just back to resistance. So there's a definite range here on the 4-hour. So there is a possibility we stay range bound. So this isn't where I want to buy because we're clear into resistance. The question would be, do you want to sell down from here? And are we going to move back down to support? So at the moment, if we break below this swing point, then it is starting to show you a downtrend on the 15-minute chart, and that could be a trigger for you to then trade back down to support. But as I said, I'm a little bit inclined to think that we might break out and above, but if it does break this level, price is just telling you it doesn't want to go any higher and it's turning around. So that could be a break of trend to move back down the range there intraday, stop above the high, targeting back down at 160, 181 area. Okay. Now, if you break above 163.48 clearly this week, over the next couple of days, you may be looking at that level for support to trade higher. But at the moment, we're just at the top of that market at the moment on the euro yen. Euro pound. All right. So just be aware that we're getting very low down here. There's another area of monthly support over here, 83.04. So whilst we can see what the trend is, which is down, I'm never keen on just selling in support. So we're just below this monthly low, and we're above the next one. So those levels on the weekly chart, 83.40, and here we're holding at 83.04 down here. At the moment, trend is down, so if I wanted to trade this pair, 83.40 would be the level I would be watching for resistance. We've almost traded there yesterday within a pip or two, and that is definitely the level to watch today. So 83.40. And just want to trade down to 15. There's a possibility that we may have already failed and not being able to get to 83.40, and that movement down here. If we start to want to, on the 50-minute chart, close below the 79% level here, 83.34, then we could be selling at this area. Stop a little bit above 83.40, looking to trade down to retest 83.04. All right, pound dollar. Trading below the 130 level. So I wasn't able to hold. We closed below it, and then we've had 2 days above. Closed back, so it was Thursday, Friday. Closed back below yesterday. So there is a potential here that maybe we're just putting in another lower top here. Weekly trend is now down. Now we've broken this weekly swing point. Are we coming down in general terms to test the next weekly support over here at 128.93? So all trends are down versus the US dollar on these pairs. So the key really is to look to sell a rally. We may have already had the rally for the day. this level here, which is last month's low 130.01. Really, any movement back up now after we've had a 4-hour rejection from there, you should look at that to be resistance intraday. So I never like to be selling at the bottom of any move. So this being able to come back up to retest the 130.01 level to continue the move down. This has just come back up here to fill the imbalance in this area from yesterday's move down. So this is leading a little bit to the euro-dollar. The euro-dollar is still asking the question now, have we, or are we going to move back up to fill some imbalances, where the pound dollar has already done that on its chart. All right, so can you sell an intraday right? Continue down today. Pound yen is trying to break above its area of resistance here at the moment. It would be nice. I'm sure I would be just sitting on my hands at the moment. It'd be nice to see this to move above today, so get a good close above, and then look at this area to be support, because we could still, by the end of the day, false break this area. So it would be nice here on the 4-hour chart. It'd be nice to see a clear move up, and then it pulls back to this area. So 195.88 is a monthly old area to the left, which you've been holding at. So I would say 196 down to 195.88. Do we move up and away and then pull back? Does that area become support this week to further move up? All right, so I'd like to see a clear break above. Then does this area become support for the market to move further up? All right, and I would say, because we've been failing here, and we know the euro dollars, so the euro yen's right at resistance as I'm talking. If we don't continue up today, then we may well be looking for back to daily. If we finish with a rejection candle here, we're looking to trade this area to be resistance to trade down. So at the moment, it is looking like maybe we're breaking out. So we want to see a clear breakout, pull back to old resistance to be support. However, this closing badly today, back below 195.61, would set the tone then to look for the opportunity to short a movement back down the range. So I'd be sitting on my hands at the moment waiting for some more information to see whether we're going to get a clear breakout or not. Might be difficult for this to break out if the pound dollar was to substantially start to decline below 130. All right, Aussie yen, this is back up to resistance. So on the day chart, you can see we've tried to move above this top here, 100.71, and couldn't, and we fell back below. Then we held. Then this top formed. This is the top we're holding at today. So it's rather range bound. So at the moment, your option to trade is to trade down from resistance. If you want to trade, I'm not sure myself if we're going to break out, because I feel like these yens look like they're going to break to the upside. So I'm actually not that keen to go shorting, but I can't buy here because I'm not going to buy into resistance. So I'm not seeing a trigger to buy today. Last 4-hour candle, though, has definitely given you a negative spinning top at resistance. So it is giving me a little bit of an indication of maybe we're going to move back down. And support at the moment is down here at 99.85 from a low over here. So that would be a target if you wanted to get short. We got last month's high here, which has been support today. See how we've moved above it. This is why I'm a little bit cautious about shorting these pairs. We've moved above last month's high here, and then it became intraday support here. So if I wanted to short this back down to the bottom of the range, I would need to be either looking for a very tight failure entry up here at 194 to 101, or I would need to see a break of that area, last month's high, which is, looks like it's around about the 172 level. That's become resistance intraday to trade down. All right, so it's just stuck here a little bit between what is last month's high acting as support and last week's high up there acting as resistance. But as I say, a little bit on the fence at the moment with the yen pairs, but they're at resistance at the moment. But I just have this thing in my head that I think maybe we're going to see them move further up, start to want to break above their resistance levels. And a number of these yen pairs, Euro yen, pound yen, Aussie yen, and New Zealand yen, they've all been sideways for a good 2-3 weeks. So if we do break north, we might get a substantial move because from consolidation, then break, we'll often get a substantial move. So if we do break north, it is well worth looking then for an opportunity to get long on an intraday setup. All right, Aussie. All right, so it did go up Thursday, Friday, got back above 6,700. But yesterday we sold heavily back below. Today we can't get back up to 67. So 67 really is where the market should now be expecting resistance if we continue any further movement up on the Aussie at the moment. And the question is 67 now holding as resistance to move down to 66.22 for a test of this low here? So 4-hour downtrends, bouncing at last week's low, rallying back up to the almost to the 62. Should we just come back up to fill this imbalance here? Now, depending on what the market wants to do today, there is an imbalance up here from yesterday above the 6,700 level. So, and this could get filled at any time during the week on any news. This imbalance up here, if we don't continue down today, so at the moment already the structure on the 50-minute chart's down, but if we were to continue up at any point during the week, then I would look up at this 6707 area and this imbalance over here. I mean, I'd much prefer, if I was trading the Aussie today, I would much prefer to see this come up to this area, like the 6700 area to the 6707 area, even into this imbalance, which is a fractional higher, but up to about 6712, because it's a nice area to look for a short, very high up within the range of yesterday. And I'm sure you start to have the large traders in the market watching that area up there for a sell. Because at the moment, whilst this 50-minute trend has turned down here at the moment, it hasn't come up to the 62% level yet. So it's a little bit short in its corrective rally from yesterday, in my mind, for me to engage down here. So I would much prefer to wait for a move up here. And if this was to continue down today, well, I would just not be trading the pair. All right, so can we come up to the higher level? All right, New Zealand yen. This is it's just starting to put a fractional higher high in here within this range, although that doesn't mean to say we're breaking out by any stretch. And we may just be having the top of the range from over here. I've actually lowered it to this high, but top of the range is from 91.35 to 91.65. So that's the area for the sellers. And I haven't been going down to any lower time frames in this pair at the moment because it's been so range bound. This is the sell area at the moment till proven different. This is the buy area till proven different. I said that last week, and yeah, you would have had a perfect opportunity down here last week to buy. So if we can get a strong close above this resistance area here, then maybe we're going to see a breakout, but at the moment we don't see it. So you could be looking for maybe a turnaround at resistance at the moment. I can just have a look at the 50-minute chart to see what price is doing. Structure on the 15-minute has just broken to down here, so you could watch at the moment for a retest and failure here, and then make a decision. Do you want to get short? Maybe on a trend line break. Just trade back down to the bottom of the range. But watch all the M pairs that are at resistance at the moment. If they're all telling you we can't move through, of course, you trading a correlated move down on trade one pair, but every pair is moving down. That's a correlated move. That would be ideal. But trying to trade one short when every other one's maybe breaking above probably isn't going to work very well for you. All right, New Zealand dollar. It's just similar to the Aussie. It's just been coming back up its range from yesterday's sell down. So to the weekly, I've been saying this for weeks now. Not to toot my horn, but I got short up here at 63.60. I'm looking to take my trade off down here within this range. So at the moment, we've moved below weekly support at 61.06. That was kind of become resistance last week, and we've had a further week down this week. So are we just going to keep seeing this continually move down? And we're just trading back up within the range of yesterday, but ultimately here we're just putting potentially another lower top in here. Down, rally, down. So next main level to test and break below is 59.84 down here. So that would be the immediate target for the move down, with a longer term target down here at the bottom at 58.49. So most of the pairs to the US dollar are moving back up within the range of yesterday at the moment. So the market's trying to find out where it wants to put in the high of the day. Could have already put in the high of the day. We've actually put in the range of the day up already today. Come up to fill this imbalance over here. We've had a 62% retracement. So you could now be just looking for the 15-minute chart to come back up a little bit, put in a little lower top, and then look for the opportunity to sell for a move back down to the low of the day. All right. If we keep moving higher, then the next level to watch for the top of the day to come in would be at the 79% level at 60.69. Okay. But at the moment, it's hit there 3 times at the 62 level and held. So that could be the high of the day. All right, dollar Canadian. Now to the daily. That fib drawn, the big fib there is the monthly range, identifying the bigger range in trend, so monthly chart. Within this range, we've put in a higher top and a higher bottom, having a very strong month up. I'm expecting maybe we could break out, but we are at resistance at the moment. So it's not where you want to buy. And depending if you want to go counter trend or not, I mean, you could look for a short up here, but we have a potential 50 basis point cut coming up. Trend is up. You'd want to see a clear signal for a short. Weekly chart up. Daily trends up. We've just put it, we had a couple of days selling last week from the weekly high area over here. And then we moved back up to retest it. So we're not able to commit above 138 to 45 at the moment. But it could just be a matter of time. Now, if you want to get short, I would probably wait for, can we retest the area once more on a daily basis and show a significant rejection on a candle, first of all? If that was to occur, then okay, maybe I could entertain a short. But other than that, with the underlying US dollar strength, I think maybe you might, have a hard time going at the moment. If we were to see over the coming week a break of day support here, then a rally and a failure, well, fair enough. That would start to give us a story that, okay, we're topping out up here. But at the moment, I think you may be just being a little bit too overconfident for a short at the moment. Right, from a point of view of trying to get long when we're at resistance up here, you really need to see maybe a 4-hour pullback. And sometimes price won't do that for you. It may just want to suddenly push straight through. But really, from a prudent trading perspective, you really want to look for a pullback. If it will offer you down to the 62.79% area, look for that area to be support to then trade up. Now, whether or not it'll be user-friendly and pull back to that area, I don't know. You'll just have to monitor it. And as I said, if we do get a move down this week and break last week's low, that would change the day chart trend down. Then we could look for opportunities to get short. But other than that, I think we're still looking for opportunities to get long, but not trading into resistance. Okay, dollar franc. Now the weekly trend has turned up now, and the day trend is up. Would be nice to play a tactical play here and wait for price, if it could, to pull back to support 86.07 here. Form a further, pull back, form a higher bottom on support. So support, look in this area for a move up to resistance. All right. Would have to have 1 or 2 days down to get down to there. If you wanted to monitor it intraday, so the 4-hour chart, you could monitor for a 4-hour pullback, which I was trying to draw it in, but price action doesn't really offer that, because actually the 4-hour chart trend is down. Move to a lower bottom and potentially putting a lower top. So can't really measure a pullback range because we've actually changed the trend intraday there. So personally, I will just see if price action can pull back to support. There is support down here, 8607 to 8600, and then do you see your setup to get long intraday? All right, so dollar yen. So the reason why I've been a little bit, whilst, I just want to see what the euro yen's doing. It is changing its 50-minute trend to down here, so there's a bit of a signal here to get short the euro yen. And so whilst I've been saying that these yen pairs, what's the Aussie yen doing? It's holding. Let's see what the pound yen looks like on the 15. It's turned its 50-minute trend to down. So whilst intraday at the moment, some of these yen pairs are starting to look negative, the reason why I'm a little bit, reluctant to go short is this dollar yen chart is a lot more bullish, and had a very positive day yesterday. Just coming up to a resistance area. We have weekly resistance here at 150.87, and then the 22 high and the 23 high in the 151.94 area. So pretty much the 152 area, but very strong yesterday. If we were to get back above these highs to the left, this pair putting in that kind of move and making that kind of statement, potentially then what I would suggest is frame the other yen pairs to be bullish. So whilst they're at the tops of their 2 or 3 week range at the moment, they may well break out if this pair continues to move back up the range. All right, so we're seeing a clear trend here. I would like, if I wanted to just trade, and I'm not going to trade at weekly resistance, but I can move to a 4-hour chart and look for a pullback within the range. I have to be patient to see whether it will offer that pullback, but back down to the 79% area, 149.51, down to 149.38 support. That support's coming from this old weekly area here. All right, so just have to be patient. What has occurred already is of last week's range, we had a 79% pullback. And now we're at the 127 extension area. of that range. So profit taking level at the moment. So then naturally, that's not the area where I want to be coming in to try and buy. I don't want to wait for the next dip. So it would be a game of patience to this area here. 149.51 down at 149.38 would be the desired area. Of course, it might just pull back to 62% level, so you just have to monitor it. But however, whatever price does, I don't want to be buying at the top of the move. I want to see a pullback if it will offer, like it offered it to you first thing Monday, following the pullback Thursday, Friday, into Monday, then moved up. This could well be the low of the week, but we may well then now pull back to put in another bottom intra-week. All right, let's get into gold. Well, we're pretty much at the all-time high. So, you know, my general commentary when we're at all-time highs or lows is I don't trade at those points. I look for pullbacks. And this, weekly chart, we've just had a very minor weekly pullback, and off we go again. So there's a clear trend. In a perfect world, it would be great to pull back to the last area of daily resistance at 26.70.17. Now, price may not offer that because this is very strong at the moment. Pullbacks are getting very short. See the last minor pullback here, it was half a day down and up. And it didn't pull back that much. So this would have to have a healthy pullback to come back to this area. On the 4-hour chart, you could be monitoring the 4-hour range. It's already had a pullback within the range, so I would need to see a fresh range develop. What I could do though is this is last week's low, and that's a new high for this week. So that was last week's high here. We've just moved up. If we do start to pull back, you could monitor that range, 62 levels at 26.77, and that support area there at 126.70. So that would be a very desirable area as well. Last month's high here at 26.85.52. Now, price may not want to pull back to the most logical technical levels to be a trader at, but I'm just going to buy it right at the top of the move. So sometimes I just have to, be more than reasonable with myself and say, well, we're at the highest point of the move. I'm going to need to see some form of correction before I can engage. All right, so that would need to do some work for me to entertain getting in. And, this 4-hour trend would probably have to turn down to move down, but wouldn't be that enticed by going short because quite clearly the dominant trend is up. All right, let's just have a quick review of the euro dollar once more. It's not able to get back to the central pivot point on the last 15-minute rally here. So really, whilst this isn't the perfect area to sell because there's quite a distance from here to that high there, there is, well, in fact, it's only 13 pips. We've just broken a minor swing point now. If you're wanting to get short and you're not, putting your stop above the intraday high at the moment, selling, you're only risking about about 15 pips. Question this week is going to be, can we break below 108 clearly on that pair? And then on the pound dollar, the question is going to be, have we now broken below 130? So I would, if you're not short, I would wait to see if I could get an opportunity to trade down from 130 this week. We may well at least see another test of that area, unless we just drop today. If we don't drop too much today, we may well see another retest of 130 during the week. That would be the key area to watch now. to be resistance for a move down. Right, Aussie's still got a bit on the current candle. As I said, we haven't come back up to the 62% area last day's trading range. So when I see that, I'm always a little bit reluctant to engage. I would rather miss out on a move down rather than get in to a low level and see price come up further. All right, it's not to say this can't, move down, because this 50-minute trend is definitely down, but experience tells me if I looked at this scenario 100 times, I would maybe be wrong more than right if I was engaging here rather than waiting for price to come up to the higher level in the range. All right. But having said that, US dollar is very strong at the moment, so price may not be able to get up as high within the range of yesterday as it would do normally. Okay. And that New Zealand dollar, right, yeah, it has come up. It is giving you an intraday rally at the moment. Little 50-minute range here. Most definitely monitor that 79% level. 60.56. Get a tight entry there, stop above these highs. Wouldn't need to risk probably more than 10 pips for a tight entry. See whether we're going to be moving down for the rest of the day. So engaging on a trade, you're going to be looking where you think price is failing at. Can you execute a trade with limited risk? And then you take the trade. You don't know if this trade is going to work, but I can see here that if it did come up to 60.56, I would probably only need to risk 10 pips here, 15 at the most, to see whether this is holding here today and moving further down the range, maybe coming down this week to test the 60-100 level. Okay, so may have already failed at the 62% level. So I did say earlier, watch for this to come up and maybe fail. All right, so that's my thoughts on the market at the moment. What we're definitely seeing as what are we, 2 weeks out now from the US vote, presidential election, we may well see continued US dollar strength leading straight into that. So that would, give you still another good 2-week window, or some, maybe 1 or 2 days less of opportunity to keep trading within this very dominant trend. So always good to be able to sell a rally at a technical level. Okay, so get your technical levels drawn in, look for a rally, limit your risk on your entry, and then all you can do is let the market then do its thing and see whether it wants to be complementary to your analysis. Okay. All right, I'm going to wind things up for today there. If you want to join me tomorrow, then head over to the webinar page. Here's the link at the top. And tomorrow I'll be going through pivot points. Pivot points are, and how to use them, are these on my 50-minute chart, these colored areas of intraday support and resistance levels. All right. Show you how you look at those and interpret those, and how you can use them within your trading. And then I've got more analysis coming out to you on Thursday. So if you want to join me, register your interest at the link at the top, and I look forward to seeing you then. Okay. And if you've got any questions, then I'm giving you Nathan's details in the chat there. And his email is, let's put it on the screen for those on our YouTube live stream. There's Nathan's email there. If you have any questions about the webinars or ACY Studios, then just give him a contact. He'll only be too happy to give you a call back in a chat. Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks very much for your attendance today. Have a great trading week, and I look forward to seeing you next time.